Teaching since 2020 just hasn't been the same. Hi, I'm a music teacher and this is my life. Welcome back to the channel, everyone, and welcome to those of you who might be new here. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you some of the ways that my teaching practice has really changed since 2020. And that is just 4 short years ago from the time that I'm filming this video. Now, I'm sure I'm not alone here in Canada. I know that 2020 impacted teaching all over the world, as well as teachers of different age ranges. So whether you're a high school teacher like me, an elementary teacher, or a college or university professor, I know that many people out there have been affected in their teaching practice. And so in today's video, I'm going to be sharing just some of the ways that my practice has been affected. But before we start, remember to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so you stay up to date on all of the future content coming up. So let's start with the first way that my teaching practice has changed. Of course, that is the ability to teach from home. Now, in 2020 and 2021, teaching from home was almost a necessity because of all of the restrictions. But now, the ability to teach from home is actually still an option. Virtual summer school is being offered this year, and that's actually how I'm teaching it. Even though I normally prefer teaching in person, I don't mind summer school being from home because a lot of schools don't have air conditioning, and thankfully at home I do. But actually during 2020 and ever since then, my school board has had a virtual school. And that school is still open with teachers and students going, working, and learning there. So the virtual learning really hasn't gone anywhere. And before 2020, my board did have virtual learning as an option, but it was only through the e-learning program where all of the assignments and the learning was asynchronous. Whereas virtual high school and the summer school program that I'm involved in has synchronous instructions where teachers and students are logged in at the same time every day and having live learning classes through Google Meet. The second thing is that work emails seem to be even more constant and consuming than before. I feel like I get more and more emails sent to my work email address, whether that's from students with questions, from parents, from staff. Every single day in summer school, I get a newsletter sent to me by one of the VPs. And while I know it's meant to be informative and helpful, it's just overwhelming. Every day I see it and I feel the need to open it and then close it again. I also get emails coming in from Google Classroom notifications when someone hands in something late, or meeting reports from every single time I close a Google Meet. It's just one email after the other, and I definitely notice an increase in those work emails since 2020. The third way that my career has changed since 2020 is the fact that every single job interview I've had with my school board has been virtual. That pretty much never happened previously. So when I first started with my school board in 2017, I applied to be on the occasional teachers list, and then 2 years after that, both times that I applied for the long-term occasional teachers list, that was at one point a thing, all of my interviews were in person. But now, ever since the pandemic, every single teaching interview has been virtual. And while it's very convenient to be able to have an interview anywhere, because then you can make it work within your teaching schedule and availability, and there's no commuting or traffic, I definitely kind of miss having them in person. There's something about it that feels a little bit more formal and also a little bit more personable. Like you can feel the energy in the room and sort of get a sense of how things are going. It's a lot harder to read how things are going on a virtual platform. The fourth way that this has changed my career is that parents and students seem to think that they have constant access to teachers. I remember last summer school, I was teaching in a different program and I had given my students a firm deadline for work, and both students and parents were emailing me as late as 6 p.m. asking me questions about extensions or if I could mark a different version of the assignment, even though they had already handed one in. I had marked it and returned it. And I think it's really just started to eliminate these boundaries that teachers have. And it almost feels like we can't have boundaries with students and parents, when the reality is that after a certain time of day, it is fair to say that we're not checking our work emails because school's closed. We've gone home, even though It's virtual. That does not give you a reason to contact us after a certain time of day or on the weekends. That's just not expected of other careers, so why would that be expected of us? And the fifth way that I have noticed my career change is AI, or artificial intelligence. So checking for plagiarism has been a part of my career ever since I started, and it was even part of professors' career when I was in university. But AI has changed the game dramatically because now not only can students copy and paste things from websites and try to pass it off as their own work, but AI will now draw different information from various parts of the internet and compile it in a way that admittedly looks like very well-written work. But I have now been putting all of my students' work through AI scanners, and it's a little scary to think about how some of these assignments are coming up as like 88% AI. And I now have to conference with my students individually and ask them to explain their work. And it does actually lead to marking assignments taking longer. So while a lot of people who are not teachers may think, oh, technology makes things so much easier because you can easily run it through a plagiarism checker and you can make comments at home. You don't have to carry a big bag of papers home to grade. It definitely makes the scanning for AI more time consuming because I now have to watch in real time, almost play it back like a video, every single edit made to a Google Doc. I need to look in Google Slides or Canva if they hand in work in those platforms to see whether or not other students have edited a slideshow. And even this past summer school session, I have seen a student's slideshow be shared with not just me, but another student. And the same thing for a Canva assignment. The reality is that I need to be more vigilant and diligent with marking assignments, not just for plagiarism, but for AI, now more than ever before. And the last thing for this video that I will say about how things and technology have changed my career since 2020 is the big increase in phone use. It's very frustrating when you ask a student to put their phone away in their bag or face down on their desk, at the very least when they are doing an in-class activity, and they just don't. And as a teacher, I'm not allowed to take it away from them. And in some ways I can understand that because it's not my property. Of course, I can ask them to put it away, but there's only so much I can do. And it's also really up to the parents. So if the parents are okay with their student having a phone in class, then again, I'm limited to what my power might be. It's so frustrating though, because while I know phones can be used for, say, playing activities like Kahoot or other interactive learning activities, it can also be a huge distraction, especially with things like social media and AI literally being at their fingertips on their personal devices rather than a school device. And those are some of the ways that technology in 2020 have changed my career. I hope that you found this video informative. If you can relate to this video, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments what other kinds of videos you'd like to see in the future. I will see you